Hello and welcome to Parry's Pickups 49, nearly at the big 50. Quite exciting. You may already have been able to guess, or you've seen it in the title of the video. This is an N64 special this week. And firstly, my apologies that there won't be any gameplay footage in this video. This is purely because I don't know how to record off the N64 as I have it set up at present. I've got a SCART lead, which isn't the AV cables, so I can't plug it into my my HD capture device. So yeah, apologies for that. I think there is a way to do it through a SCART switcher, but I don't have the correct cables in order to do that yet. So it will just be me in front of the camera. Sorry about that. But I've got some N64 games to talk about this week. And first off, I've been playing Aero Fighters Assault. This is the best you're going to get in regards to gameplay footage here. The cover of the game, I'm afraid. So this is an arcade-style combat flight game, which is a lot of fun. As I mentioned, very arcade-style. Even uses a credit system, so if you do die, you have so many credits in order to continue the game. It's very straightforward. The missions usually revolve around defeating enemies, and then you have a larger enemy which needs to be defeated, and that's the objective of the mission. The first mission, you have a sort of robotic crawling creature, which is similar to the Pokemon Metagross, if you were familiar with the way that looks. It's like a four-legged spider walker thing, or similar to that thing in Sims 2000 when you put the alien attack on your city. Anyway, so you destroy that. So there's a little fantasy element to this game as well. It's not a serious flight game. I say it plays very arcade style. Second mission, you have a large boat or submarine that you have to destroy. There's two of them. So there's definitely an increasing challenge in this game. It's great music and great explosions. So if you love music and explosions, and this game comes highly recommended. It does what it says in the tin, really. I do have some memories of this game because my uncle used to have this on the N64. I never used to like it as a kid. It is reasonably challenging. You know, you will die a few times, and yes, I was using a fair few continues on the first two missions of this game, so I think I've got to improve if I want to complete it. But it's good fun. And there's, other than Lilac Wars or Star Fox 64, there's nothing quite like this on the N64, especially not with real planes. So for that, and its fun arcade-style gameplay, I'd say this is a good game. But again, if you really are quite happy with Lilac Wars, then perhaps you could skip that one. But if you want real planes, then you have to get Aero Fighters Assault. Next up, we have Bomberman 64. Okay, so this is a little different than your regular Bomberman. Even the multiplayer Bomberman is different, so don't let that put you off the first time you play it. Don't pop this in the N64 thinking you're going to have your usual multiplayer Bomberman experience. Now, it does take a moment to sort of adjust to, because the main game itself is an adventure game, and it has a very unique play style. You place bombs, as you would expect in a Bomberman game, to defeat enemies, but also to destroy objects in order to get to other places. The first mission sees you having to find switches within a level to open up the gateway to the next part. But throughout that, to actually get to the places you need to get to, you have to strategically use your bombs. This could be either kicking your bombs, which is a familiar move from the Bomberman regular games. Say there's a small opening, you're too tall to walk through it, but you can kick a bomb underneath it. That may result in an explosion that gives you access to the switch you need to press. And then there's more and more things you can do with the bomb. You can make them explode mid-air with the time bombs, which you'll have to use in some circumstances. So that implies, of course, you can throw your bombs as well as kick them. You can use your bomb to jump over gaps. Say there's a gap that Bomberman needs to traverse. He can't jump himself, which is quite interesting because you'd think this might be a platform game. It's more of it is and it isn't, because it isn't really about platforming. It's more I guess, puzzle based. Yeah, so you have to think about the area you're in and how you can use your bombs to get through that area in order to do whatever your objective is. So yeah, you can place a bomb in a gap to create a bridge for Bomberman to walk across. But you've got to remember that these bombs will go off at certain times. Also, you can pump up your bomb to destroy more sturdy materials. For example, you've got a big a bridge with these supports, and you can't destroy them with your regular bomb. What you have to do there is drop a bomb, pick it up, tap A frantically to make the bomb more powerful, and then throw it. Of course, you've also got to be careful again not to be destroyed by your own bomb. Enemies wander around the levels, and they can be destroyed with bombs. Usually, I find the best way is to kick a bomb at them to stun them, and then that keeps them still, so the bomb will explode right next to them. Yeah, I enjoyed this for the time I was playing it, and I think it's something I definitely will go back to. Is a little bit, I can't imagine it's being very accessible for the younger gamer. If you were a kid and you got this game as opposed to something like Mario 64, you probably wouldn't have got into it as fast. It does take some time. It isn't really the most accessible game, but it is unique, and I think when you spend a little bit more time with it, you'll really quite enjoy the nature of the gameplay. The multiplayer, what it seems like, works very similar to the single player, where you use all these special moves that you've learned in the single player to defeat your enemies. The arenas are open as opposed to closed off, so it's a little bit more frantic than regular Bomberman. But it could be fun. Now I know the main game and the techniques, strategies involved with that, then I think the multiplayer is going to be a lot more enjoyable now. So that's Bomberman 64, and a very interesting game, I have to say. Next up, we've got Vigilante 8, Second Offense. So I bought this one as opposed to the regular Vigilante 8 on the N64 because this one's seemed like the better package to me. It's got high resolution graphics, as the last one didn't have, and that's nice. You can turn them on or off. It depends if you got the expansion pack. You don't need an expansion pack in order to play this. The game runs slightly slower in with the high res graphics. It's a very straightforward Twisted Metal type clone game, car combat. It's got like a quest mode where missions seem to involve you collecting briefcases. So there's a bit of exploration of the area you're in. You're always getting attacked by a vehicle. Collect a couple of briefcases, destroy the vehicle, move on to the next one. Quite a few different environments within this game as well. Quite a few different vehicles too. Nice soundtrack. It's very 70s, very synth-based, which I enjoyed quite a lot. I think that's different from the previous version, Vigilante 8. So, yeah, it's rather basic, because there's a variety of weapons that you can pick up. You will spend a lot of time driving around trying to find new weapons, because your ammo doesn't seem to last particularly long. So you've got a regular standard machine gun, but it doesn't tend to do much damage to the enemies. When you've got up to, I don't know, I think 4 enemies attacking you, it does get kind of frantic. Some areas you think you'll be able to easily drive up, you can't, which is a little bit frustrating. These are a few minor nitpicks. Basically it plays well and is reasonably fun, but slightly frustrating at times because of just having to find all the weapons, I think, and how long it takes to destroy any of the vehicles in the game. It does feel like it can take a while. But I guess that is dependent on which weapons you're using to destroy them. There's a few secrets in the levels here and there. In the quest mode, you can find extra bonuses should you explore the area a bit more. It's cool I can get the power-ups to let your vehicles fly or float on water. That's quite a fun little thing about this game. And there's also an arcade mode, so if you don't want to go the quest mode with collecting the suitcases, you can also do the regular arcade mode, which is just straightforward battling. Yeah, the controls take a little bit getting used to, but again, it's okay. It wouldn't take too long. It's not. Of course, it's never going to be comparable to anything like Twisted Metal Black on the PS2, which, for my money, is probably the most fun I've had with this type of game. But yeah, it's okay. I think for its time, you know, it definitely looked very nice, and it was, yeah, it's not bad at all. I'd say it was alright. Wouldn't say it's a must buy though for the N64, but if you want that kind of game on the N64, then there isn't a lot of choice other than the other Vigilante 8 game. Lastly, I can't critique this next game because it's American football and it's Madden 64, which all I can say is it looks nice enough. We know it's functional. It's not bells and whistles like some of the NFL quarterback games, which take a use expansion pack and look very nice. This one definitely is serviceable, not bad looking at all. But yeah, it plays smooth. I mean, it's a fine game. Should you know how to play American football? I'm still no closer to my goal of learning the game. I hope one day to find someone I can sit down with who will walk me through how to play an American football game. But until that day, Madden will have to sit unplayed for a while. But I wanted to get an NFL game for for the N64, because I don't have one. I chose Madden 64. It seemed like it was the most accessible compared to, say, the quarterback club games, which I've heard a little bit more difficult and a little bit more simulation based, whereas Madden is a more straightforward game. And it's just got the greatest cover there, what says Madden without John Madden on the front there, holding a football. And that's it, the N64. I've been playing on it quite a bit just lately, trying out all these games. And, you know, for me, it's when games were games. And when I say that, I mean, it's sort of like with films. Every film, every era of film is different. And you have your preference. You know, you may enjoy the old classic black and white movies. The way people made film at one point is different to the way they make film now. And it's exactly the same for video games. The way games, you know, it's all to do with limitations. It's to do with whatever is the fashion of the time. For me, I think what I most see as a video game is that era of video games, which was an interesting time because you were getting more advanced 3D games, a lot more bigger games, a lot more cinematics in video games. But it was still primarily a very quick pick-up-and-play type experience without all the bells and whistles and money. Well, of course there was money involved, but now games are like blockbuster movies. And at this point, games, as I say, were games. And it just takes me right back to play N64, back to an era that I don't think we'll ever quite have again. I mean, there are games which have similar qualities nowadays, but back then, I don't know, you put in a game, it felt like a game, and now they feel like, I'm not dissing new games at all, because I think what we can do and experience in video games right now is just amazing. It's mind-blowing. And sometimes you want a game to feel like the ones you remember, and every time I play on the N64, I get that feeling, and I really love it for that reason. And there were some fantastic games on it. So, yeah, maybe you've heard about a few games there you've not played before, and maybe I've been able to convince you to give them a go, or maybe to steer clear. That's really the objective of Parry's Pickup, to chat a little bit about what games I picked up lately, my initial experiences with them, because there's no way I've played these games for hours and hours on end. I've played this maybe for an hour, a couple of hours each, apart from Madden, which was very brief. But yeah, there we have it. That's another episode, and that's episode 49 of Parry's Pickups. I hope to see you next time for episode 50, which will have gameplay footage. I'm going to do a couple of Super Nintendo games in that episode, and I do have the ability to record that stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a mixed bag next time, just to let you know. So it won't be another format-based special. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and until next time, game on.